skin, dude. Don't see those aliens?
Oh my god! I thought
Dude,
I
with
knew
the
you were gonna
concrete, the
bring that up.
concrete aliens.
The fucking Play-Doh aliens.
The cake.
Yeah. So it was like the Mexican government came out, and there was this guy who like leads their kind of UFO division, and he brought these like bodies, and they're all encased. They're in like a little glass like museum box, and I mean they're like this big. You know, they're not very
Tiny.
big.
No,
and
they're not big.
And so this guy is going forward, and he's like, "Hey, we found these. These bodies are 1,000 years old."
My god.
Found down there in Peru or something.
Yeah, and so he's saying, you know, it's not like they were a crash ship hit, and they pulled these aliens out. And saying, hey, these aliens have been buried in these mines in Peru, and you know they apparently did some carbon dating on them, said they're 1,000 years old.
They're like mummified aliens or something.
Yeah, and so they're mummified, but they look like they're concrete. They look like they're Play-Doh.
I saw them and I was like, if I asked my children, if I showed them like a picture of E.T., and I was like, can you make this out of Play-Doh? Dude, that's what it fucking looks
So
like.
let me ask you this though: do you think ET looks that way because
I don't know.
I think these aliens.
Because who wrote ET? That's Spielberg.
Yeah, he was a director. I don't
Okay.
know if he wrote it, but yeah.
So, I mean, who's more in the know than him?
Exactly.
Right? So, and that was back when aliens were crashing New Mexico like it was cool.
Let's not start this.
I'm just
conspiracy
saying.
shit.
I'm just saying. People, again, that's what people are saying. Like, hey, man, they look like the ET aliens. It's like,
Dude,
well, what
so-
if the ET aliens were designed that way because they
Exactly.
knew that's how they looked?
Exactly.
So now when everyone sees this, it's immediately discredited. That's bull, dude.
That's
Yeah,
because all
that's
these
not
aliens are
real.
designed because of ET.
Well, you look at paintings from like
They were just like watching our movies. Fucking take
yeah.
Write that down. Write that down.
Well, you look at paintings from way back in the day, like on all these pyramids. You see aliens that look
With the cave
similar similar to what these things look like. You know, with the freaking weird shaped head and everything like that. So, who knows, man? I don't know. I'm a believer. I don't know if that picture necessarily is real or not,
Or if
but-
those bodies are real.
or if the bodies are real.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You know, they'll show us that, but they won't show us other things, right?
Well, and so the
Well,
thing,
That the government's hiding from us.
please expand.
I can't remember what to say.
Anyway, so
Yeah,
what
go
I was
ahead.
going to say was they were testing the alien bodies, and they said like 70% of its like DNA they could trace back to some form of human evolution. They said 30% of it they couldn't identify, and it had nothing, no
Interesting.
anything tying to the
So,
way our evolution works. So
I
it
also-
was kind of like
Yeah, I also saw how that both of them didn't come from separate aliens. They were saying it came from the same alien,
The same species.
like the same body.
what do you mean?
They're saying that they couldn't tell that there were two separate aliens. That from whatever science shit that they came up with, apparently there was all from one.
Like as if they were testing the bodies, and it was like there was genetically
Genetically,
there
it
was no difference.
Right. Like it was,
was like
the
they were
fucking
just
same shit.
They were just some sort of perfect species that all look the same.
My thing is, you know,
Same DNA, dude. Can't be
These-
fighting.
these little bastards had gotten found like what 10 years ago.
Yeah, so that was the other thing.
What, like,
Well-
what took you so long? Is it now just because I can see them being like, oh, what an opportune moment, you know? Like the government just came out and was like, hey, we have these like UFO like actual records, and like, yeah, it's shit's real.
Mexico's
And now they're like,
"Can we
oh, hey, senor, speaking about the UFOs, we have the little motherfuckers. He's right here. We have our own right here. You know what I'm saying?
He's like,
You
can we
know,
get some
open
of
the
that NASA
box.
funding?
And you might be able to find one. A little while we might put one at the bottom of a tequila bottle. I don't know how it works, but
But yeah, it'd be funny if they came forward and were like, hey, like, bitch, can we get some funding now? We got them.
Yeah.
You know, but
Who
again,
knows?
there is a lot of speculation with it because the same guy who is coming forward, this UFO specialist that's coming forward and saying, hey, boom, here are the bodies. They're here. You can see them. In 2015, I believe, he kind of did something similar, and then they were able to prove that the remains that they brought were just a small child's remains. It was like a deformed kid that had been mummified. So obviously it's been dead for a long time.
Yeah.
But it was like once they did the testing, it was like, hey, this is a person.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is if again they were like, hey, we did the same testing because we found similar things, and that's where we saw the difference.
It's just like if you look at it, it just looks like a concrete cast.
I don't know. They said they did like a ultrasound to it, and it looked like it had parts of its body that were meant for housing like eggs.
What the fuck?
So then it's
Yeah,
like
'cause
you
we
gotta
know
wonder
that
how
shit,
how
right?
these things are fudging, dude.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just pooping eggs out, dude. And then these little aliens just like.
And they're just smashing their egg sacs together.
Probably. It's some
It's gonna be
weird.
like San Quentin, dude.
Yeah. But after seeing pictures of those things, man, I'm not even worried about them, dude. They're tiny. They're not gonna.
Oh,
They're
they
not
don't
gonna
even-
mess us up.
They don't
dude.
even live.
Dude, that's what
Yeah.
you would think until you go watch Mars Attack.
Nah.
That is funny. I haven't
can
seen
take
that
them
movie in a
on.
long time. That's a
Yeah.
funny movie.
Dude, that movie. Have you seen Mars Attack?
No.
Gasp.
Movie night. No, dude. Mars Attack was like when I was a kid. My dad used to make us watch like pretty scary movies, you know, and he'd just be like, just
Super violent.
yeah,
So
just like
sit there.
suck it up. It's not that scary, you know. But
He doesn't need his head.
we watched Mars Attack. I forgot how young I was, but dude, that movie scarred me because like I remember like one of the first scenes, right, when like the aliens land, they come out of their spaceships. And like some dude goes up to like greet them or something like that, and they just like blast him with their little like ray gun and just instantly like his all his skin just melts off and it's just got like bones dripping in blood. And as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Is this real? And then those little motherfuckers were like, you know, they're like 3 feet tall.
Dude, you could just punt these things.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
They had big brains though.
Yeah, the ones that they found in Mexico don't look like they were that smart, but
Yeah.
you know, again, it is one thing, but it's funny because it's like they come out and they're like, "Hey, they're real, man. We got them," and immediately, you know, the U.S. is like, "Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
We're calling this.
That's not what they look like."
Yeah.
I don't know how I know that's not what they look like, but that's not.
You're right.
It's because of Roswell, dude. Roswell.
I don't know. To me, it's just like, at what point do they come out and just say, "Shit, dude, they're here," you know? And is it more because it's just like they worry about how it's going to affect, if it'll just be a total breakdown of society because people will be like,
Yeah.
okay, aliens are real, everything's a lie.
Hey, my thing is like they got these two, right?
Mm.
You found them 10 years ago. Okay. Are there others? Like it's hard to believe that the only two mummified aliens that those are the only two mummified aliens to ever exist,
Right.
if they're real, right?
Mhm.
And like you found the only two that exist on Earth. Like
Yeah. Bullshit.
you guys do there's a lot of archaeological like digging and stuff going on in, you know, Central and South America, you know, where the Mayans and the Incans were. And it's like, I know there's tons and tons of stuff that hasn't been found yet and excavated just because it's so deep in the jungles. But, you know, it's like you would think if you found these two, you would find some other stuff like along the way.
Right. Show us that shit.
If it's
I want to
real,
know what it looks like.
Come on, man. Is
But-
that
show me
but I
the
think-
meaning.
I think it's gonna take more than just a picture of these aliens for us to believe it. I think
We're
it's
gonna
gonna
need
take,
to see them walking.
Yeah, it's gonna and
gonna
I
take an
think that's what
invasion.
it's gonna come down to.
Oh, as I had this conversation with Rachel the other day, is like, I was like, what do you think is going to come first? Do you think there's going to be just a, you know, news to every single screen and just say, hey, aliens are real, blah, blah, blah? Or is it more likely that we're just going to be here one day and all of a sudden, and here they come, just over, you know, San Antonio or something?
I hope it's that way.
I hope it's the second
I
way.
hope it's the second one.
I don't want to be prepared, dude, because then I'll start freaking out, anxiety.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a good question. What's gonna come first? Alien invasion, or Joe Biden completes a sentence?
Dude, he might be trying to save us, dude.
Random
I
thoughts.
don't
dude, random
know.
thought. He might be an alien.
He might be.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just wild and it's crazy. You know, it's like we got some property down at the farm and it's way out there in the middle of nowhere. And it's like when you get out there, there's no lights. You can see the whole Milky Way, and it's like you always have those conversations. Those like, dang man, we were so small.
Yeah.
You know.
Amen.
That's wild.
So it's just crazy to think about, and there's a big part of me that hope that it is real, and maybe it's just that Mexico is just like, hey, fuck it, we got nothing else to gain. Like, all we do is export cocaine, baby. We're about to start exporting aliens.
Yeah.